Average massive up day in gold and silver. I'll be honest though, the miners, not too impressed. Some of them are good. Some of them are good. The seniors, not so good. Um, some of the silver stocks, honestly, I flip-flop quite a bit. I say I'm gonna hold, and I usually do. I've been doing pathetic trims on the way up. I'm happy they're pathetic because that's why I held my core position. But a little 1%, 2% here and there. I know in the end it adds up, but usually it's just 1% trims, and I give it a lot of room. So by the time I do my next sell, it's like 5, 10% away, and it's basically core position has been held throughout all of this. But we're at $4,000 gold. Where's gold now? 3,958. That's 4,000. All right. I mean, that's 1% away. That's meaningless. We're at 4,000 right now. Silver, no point in looking at gold. Like we've gone at new all-time highs every day. It closed at high of day, perfect candle, but we're pretty much touching 4,000. Silver, I talk about 50 a lot. I'm not sure. Let me do weekly because this is so absurd. Here's your 1980, 2011 ascending line. All right. If you want to play it that way, it takes you to just under 51. All right. So let's say normally people say 50, like me, I say $50 is your resistance. Let's actually zoom in because I like to do it based on the last candle. As we go up, this is your candle here. This is your high. It's 49.2, which means it's 49. And we're at 48.49, which means we're there. All right. So yes, it can be 49. It can be 49.5, which is the next candle high. Otherwise, go all the way up here, 49.8 or 7 or whatever. Same thing. It's not 50. It's 49 point something. And we're at 48 point something. Basically, you could say today is the high. All right. Tomorrow, I don't know, maybe in the morning, China buys, it goes up, and then before the market opens, right, before the American markets open, you're already at low of day and the top is in, or we are creating the top. Some people think that 50, we go straight through it, we close above 50 and we're on our way to 60. I'd love that. But we're there. I'd be waiting for ages to get here. And what am I going to do? Not sell. I'm just going to watch. Now, I know I've got a bit of a habit of selling and all that, and it's an addiction, but I've been pretty tamed at this addiction. I've been holding on quite well. Last sell was at 44 because of this. And it was a tiny, pathetic sell. Then I held on, thank God, all the way up we go. I'm going to make my peace. I'm going to just trim tomorrow, and I don't know how much. Is it going to be another 1, 2% pathetic, or is it going to be an actual meaningful 5%, 10% in certain stocks? I don't know, Fortuna, I don't like Fortuna. I'll probably do, I don't know. It's hard to do 10% sales because I think long term, not even long term, medium to long term, we're going higher. Even though 50 is resistance, gold is going to be at 5,000 something next year, 6,000. That's 50%. We're going to breach 5,000 next year. That's what I think. Silver, therefore, is probably at 60 something next year. It might even be higher. So why would I sell? Well, it's just like it's position management, it's risk management, it's psychological well-being, it's following the laws of trading. Even if you're a long-term investor, you've got to take some off the table. If not here, when? What, as it goes down, as it starts to be obvious that the top's in and we're gonna go down to 40 or so. Nah, I mean, and by the way, the dollar was up today, meaningless. Yields don't do anything. We're invincible, but that's when you sell or at least take something. So I sense that tomorrow I'm gonna trip. Today I did just 2 or 3 tiny trims. I'll go through it, meaningless stuff as usual. But it's because actually on my way back from work, usually I cycle back, but I walked back today, flat tire, and maybe it's a coincidence, but it meant that I listened to a podcast. Usually I'm listening to some music or something, but I was listening to Rick Rule talk about how he's already sold 25 to 30% of his junior holdings. Now, I hardly hold any juniors. I bought them maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, so it doesn't count. He bought them ages ago, 5 years ago. So he's basically sold his initial investment, which means the rest is free money, which I like that. I like the sound of that. And I guess I try to do that too as I'm trimming. And I don't have juniors. For me, the equivalent would be mid tiers. You know, I'm not going to sell the juniors I bought 2 weeks ago. Makes no sense. That's for the next 1 or 2 years. But maybe I trim one or two mid tiers. Oh yeah, and what did he do with his proceeds? So he sold 25, 30%. Half of that went into seniors and gold, specifically Wheaton, Agnico, Franco-Nevada, and the metal itself, which is extremely conservative because as we go down, you know, Heckler will be down 10%, Agnico will be down 3. So it goes up less, but it goes down less. And gold will also be down like 2 or 3% as Heckler, CDE, and the crazy ones go down a lot more. So it's really conservative. He went for the beta rather than the alpha. Those were his words. And something else I've been thinking about over the weekend is I'm starting to look at these other commodities, which I know even less about. Copper, tungsten, tin, palladium, platinum. I know a little bit about that. Oil, right, which has been down so much compared to gold, which is probably one of the reasons we made so much money. I think next year oil starts to go back up, but it's not going to impact. I don't think it's going to impact the miners' profitability because the price of gold's gone up so much, and it will continue to. So even if it puts pressure on inflation, I think those days are over where, oh, oil's up, inflation's up, gold down because they're going to raise rates. That game's over. Like this has changed forever now. The moves we've seen in gold this year specifically. All right, I'm going on a rant, but the point is, I feel like trimming tomorrow. The test of 4,000, I think we already did it today, by the way. But tomorrow, if we have that extra move up, I will be trimming. It'll be my first decent trim since 44, but it'll be more than 44. And when I've done trimming there, that's it. Like I've made my peace. Up we go to 5,000 the day after, or silver goes and closes above 51, and oh my God, we're on our way to 60. Cool, I'll make it. If I sell 5, 10%, who cares? If it goes up, like, I'm done. I'm secure. Like, life-changing stuff is happening regardless. And if we go down, I am seriously good. Whereas if we go down when I don't really sell much, I'm still okay, but what a difference it would make. So for those reasons, and also I'm thinking about buying these, coppers and tungsten and all these. It's starting to fill up my Twitter feed, and there are some good charts out there. And I'll still be way more heavily invested in gold and silver, but I gotta start in these other ones. I already own uranium, a tiny bit of copper. SBSW is like my only palladium, platinum, rhodium exposure, and I just gotta, I feel like those guys are gonna run now. Gold and silver started it, gold started it, and it's time for it to cascade into other areas. All right, so silver, we're very close. Candlestick's nice. Gold candle's even better. Gold was probably the best performer. The miners underperformed the metals, and gold and silver underperformed gold. Those are the opposites of what we expect in a full-on bull market. We are in a full-on bull market, but I'm starting to see signs of it starting to turn. And by the way, we're near resistance. So again, all the very, very short-term signals of today are pointing to resistance. GDX, look at that, gave back half its gains, right? I mean, GDX took out its last highs ages ago, but there's another indication. GDXJ, same sort of thing. We've cleared 100, but maybe it's just a little too late because of where gold is. Gold and silver are pretty close to well, they are at their resistance. So otherwise, this would have been great. SIL didn't even make a new high. Double top, if you want to call it that. Closed after so much giving back. That's your silver seniors. SILJ, same sort of thing. Did make a new high though. Did make a new. Okay, SILJ probably outperformed SIL, but do you see what I mean? You compare that to gold. It should be the way around. It should be SILJ clearly outperforming gold, but it's the opposite. So I wasn't too happy. Did make a lot of money, but still not too happy. Newmont looks like GDX. Cool. Newmont, I think, is the only senior that did perform well, right? 2%, still gave back about half, but nice candlestick close, new all-time high. Clearly opened above the resistance, 2%. That's cool. Agnico, not as good, 0.5%, not happy. Barrack, pretty terrible given what gold did. What was gold up like 1%, more than a percent? This thing's unchanged, close at low of day. Crap, right? I know it's done extraordinarily well, but That's a crap candle. Sorry. Pan America, that's not really pure GDX, more like a silver stock. Nice, closed above 40. Okay, kind of minimal expectation. This one should kind of be near 44. We're pretty much at $50 silver. I would have expected it to be at 44. We took out the descending. I trimmed there. 40 is your next level. I don't even think I trimmed there. But for me, 40 is your last stop before 44. You're not really going to stop off at 42. I mean, unless you're there and silver's at 50. But it's a 10% move between 40 and 44. And I don't think it can do 10% tomorrow because silver's only going to be up like 1 or 2% max until it hits 50. Jesus, we're there. So I would have expected Pan America to do better. But I think long term, this one just holds its high. Like if silver drops, Pan America's not going to drop as much as the hecklers, the CDs, and all those crazy boys. It's just going to hold around 40, maybe come back down to 40, who knows, 30, and then probably lead the way up. So I'm not worried about Pan America at all. I'm just thinking about it now. It's not as good as I thought it should be. Wheaton, another senior that wasn't good enough. What is that? Close at low of day, unchanged. Do you know what I mean? If it wasn't for Newmont, they were all basically unchanged. Franco Nevada, okay, that was up, but not even 1%. That's just not good enough. But after hearing what Rick said, Rick, as if I know him well, Franco Nevada, Wheaton, and the Kaneko, they are the best three, and they perform so crap. But I think on the way down, those are the ones that you can play defensively. Like, I'd probably, if we start to cascade down, can't imagine that happening, but if 4,000 really is the top and we start to drop for like 2, 3 weeks, I think these are the ones where you not hide into, but they would be the ones that I buy on the drop when I'm caught unsure, like, oh shit, are we going to drop more, more, more? Let me start with Franco, Agnico, and Wheaton. You know, they'll be down 2% whilst everything else is down 5%. And then as I'm getting more and more sure, as we're starting to curl and it's starting to level off, okay, now let's add to Equinox, Harmony, let's get back into CDE and more aggressive ones. That's how I'm planning to do it, but I wouldn't mind trimming the top two. All right, Metalla. Now, here's the other royalty, but it's more of a junior. Wonderful stuff, 5.5%. It's what you expect, but it's got so much more to go. This is one of Adrian Day's favorites. I don't buy the newsletters. I don't do any of that. I should. I definitely have the money, but I don't have time to. I don't know. I'm just lazy. I guess I do have time to read it, but I hear enough on the channels, right? And I hear him repeating Metallo, and it's I think it's going to trade all the way up here, during this cycle. Today was a great. I don't even know if there's any news. Maybe this is how they should be reacting to gold going up. For me, next stop is going to be up here. You got little 735, a little pre-8 move, 780. But what if gold's hit its resistance before then? Only company news can bring you all the way up there. So my last trims was just here for the $6 zone. You can see why here, 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 support there. But then I said I'd leave it until up here, and we're pretty much there. So maybe tomorrow on the last move up, if we test, I'll sell. I'll probably trim Metallic a tiny bit tomorrow as the 4,000 zone sell. Little 2%. This one I don't want to sell too much of because it was never worth too much on the way up. Now it's worth a lot more, but I'm not going to sell a lot of that. I am gold. Jeez, that's wonderful. Up 3.5%. That's okay, but it could have been double. Tested 14. That was mini psychological resistance zone because of the big number. But otherwise, if I remember correctly, we are in a bit of a vacuum. Yes, we're in a gap fill zone. So from 1350 to 1450, it's gap fill. We're literally in the middle. And so I expect continuation gap fill. I would probably trim gap fill if it coincides with 4,000 zone. So small trim there because if gold comes down, I am gold price will come down. Very sensitive to gold, if I remember correctly, which explains this ridiculous physics defying move up. So if gold goes down, you're not allowed to just hold your gains. It's going to come down pretty aggressively. So a little trim would be good. I'm wondering whether to do some after hours here to front load the move to 4,000 because who knows, it could go up during the Chinese hours and then by the time the markets open in America, we're like red and just making new lows, something we are not used to seeing at all, right? And I remember those days, it's not even the metals, but just owning stocks. You just think, why wasn't I selling? Why was I so greedy? Um, it's always obvious after the fact. And this is a pretty damn obvious move up that you should be trimming into. But anyway, I'll see if it goes towards the to complete the gap fill. I'll trim that just based on gap fill technicals, but also 4,000 bucks gold. Got to sell that. Got to trim. Equinox, amazing. This one, it wasn't up much, but I do kind of like that candle a bit. Another move up. 1140 is your zone. 1150. Uh, it'd be such a shame. It should be at 13, I think. That's quite a big move to get to 13, though. It's not going to do that. Definitely not going to do that tomorrow. 20%. Don't know what to do with this one. The Iron Gold and Equinox in my portfolio kind of supposed to be worth the same. Iron Gold's worth like 10% more, so I'm more inclined to trim Iron Gold and Equinox, and Equinox still hasn't taken out its old high of 1150. And I forgot whether I trim this. I don't know about whether I'll trim this. If it looks very obvious that gold is putting a top in, I might do one last trim. But what I buy if it comes back down to the 758, even 9 zone. I don't want to get too cute and try and trim this. I know that next year we're above 13. So, okay, my mind's not too made up on that one. B2 Gold, that had nice news and it basically kissed next resistance, right? Here's your prior resistance, which was clear. Boom, boom, boom. How many times we hit that? And up we go on news. They're restarting some mine, whatever. Up we go. It hits next resistance like perfect technicals. It also closed quite near high of day if you compare it to the average GDX. So if we have any gold move and GDX starts to act favorably next day, tomorrow, we'll start making our way towards $6, but that is going to be hard to do. 10%, who knows? Maybe the market opens and everyone's all bullish and we're hitting new high of days and gold's up at 4,000 and something before it turns. I still think it will sort of, I don't know, it may overshoot 4,000 and keep going for another 1.5 days, but what happens after that? I feel like 4,000, the whole area roughly should be resistance, but maybe it's enough to throw B2 gold up towards $6, and then it comes down with gold. Huh. Looks like it wants to go higher. All right, I'm in no hurry to trim that. Next one, Harmony. Oh my God, it's so obvious. 19 is such an obvious resistance. And where's that line come from? Let's do the weekly. Oh my God, it doesn't get more obvious than that. Of course, 19 is resistance. I should be trimming that because I brought it down here and it's so obvious. But I'm going to hold because it's not worth too much. I think it's one that I'd like to buy as it drops. But just clearly 19 is resistance and it's coinciding with 4,000 gold. It's also for tax purposes. If I sell it too early, I incur extra taxes. So that's basically another reason why I don't want to sell it. And if I hold it for a couple of months, then I do not incur those taxes. And I think in a couple of months, we're trading above 4,000, even if we dip now. And I think it'll be above $20. So basically, this one is not worth trimming at all. I'm forgetting Aris Mining, which has now finally cleared 10 clearly. The last couple of days where, officially it was closing above 10. Then we had this weird candle and it's trying to regain. Today, opened above resistance. We started to close it. And I don't want to zoom out because if I do it slowly, the whole chart just collapses because then you can see how absurd the whole thing is. We are starting to trade above what used to be support, and I don't know where resistance is here. I have to really like zoom in and take out a magnifying glass, and I don't even know if it counts with all these diluted gaps. And so my experiment, and it's an experiment to me, is just to leave it and see what happens here. I've trimmed already this. Oh, I trimmed already on the way up, but $10. I'm leaving it. I'm holding what I've got. Don't care. I think this can do some pretty crazy moves. It already has. So, and it's starting to look good, especially compared to other GDX stocks. This one, up 3.5%. Wheat and Agnico were way worse than that. SBSW, I felt was starting to get resistance. Now, this is not really a gold silver. It's more of a, I think, platinum, palladium, rhodium, but I don't really watch those charts. But just looking at the candles, it looks a bit tired here. I did a tiny trim on this one, I'm not gonna lie, today, just right in the middle, because I haven't really trimmed since $10. And I was looking for 12.50 and I think I forgot to do 12 and I just thought, ah, what's the difference between 11.30 and 12? Nothing. So I just tiny 5% trim there because I don't know what's going to happen. And I heard that it is high risk, it could probably go all the way up if platinum and palladium go up, but it's very high risk. And I think I listened to one or two Rick Rule podcasts and I just thought at the end during one of the podcasts, I think it was him, I just thought, maybe I should trim a little SBSW here. He put me off it. I think it was him. It's like the CEO is his best friend, but it's risky, something like that. All right, silver stocks. Now, First Majestic did all right. Ah, geez, it gave back so much I didn't even realize. So how much? Oh, okay, there's your close on Friday. Geez, we did 10% at the high of day. I had no idea we did 10%. I remember seeing seven or eight. Anyway, it's kind of good. Shame we gave back so much, especially with silver so close. I always thought we'd test 14 by the time we get to $50. We're at 13.50. That's pretty close, almost the same thing. I really hope that if tomorrow we have that last hurrah, that First Majestic at least makes it to test 14. I mean, not to prove to myself that I have made a good guess, but it's the minimum, like silver's at 50. What is this? I remember looking it down here, it was already underperforming, and to be fair, it's kind of done 30% since then, kind of. But let's get to the next level. And 14 is not even your level. It's like 14.50 is really your level. So, and it gave back so much. Whilst silver didn't really close that far off its highs, gold didn't. So it's disappointing, even though it was up 6%. I'm disappointed in First Majestic. At least there's some positives you can take out. New high, new all-time 52-week close. It did close all right. And you can give an excuse that the ETFs were weak, so we had to follow the ETFs. It's not because of First Majestic, it's because of all the others combined. Still, can't, change the fact that I'm a bit disappointed. Fortuna, disappointed. Up 0.5%, underperforms the metal. What is this? Hasn't even tested its all-time high. I don't like Fortuna. I own it. I don't like it. This one I am selling tomorrow, even if we're red. I just prefer to take out my silver miners exposure in Fortuna than any of the other stocks that have been performing well and fundamentally are better. So I was hoping this would touch 950, 970, 980 so I could trim it at the absolute highs. But I guess there's not much difference between $9 and 980, right? So what's that? Jeez, is that 10%? I guess that is quite a bit. Yeah. But still, in the grand scheme of things, especially for a stock that's crap, in my opinion, I prefer to spread its proceeds in any of the other silver stocks. All right, CDE, which has been underperforming. SILJ, I think did okay today, given how the others were, up 3.5%. It's kind of what you expect. New 52-week high, new all-time close high. I'm trying to spin this in a positive way. It's also at resistance, according to me. Yes, pre-gap fill resistance, correct. I think it did okay. Didn't do really well, right? First Majestic did really well. Didn't do really bad. It didn't do Fortuna bad. It wasn't red, and it outperformed SILJ just, but it's been underperforming the last couple of days. So actually, that's another positive spin. But it was okay overall. It's kind of what I expect, sort of minimum expectations. Uh, we're at $50. This one's performed really well, right? Fair enough. Fair enough. The move to $50. And if it drops from $50, how about the move down? You know, that'll be an interesting video. The levels, 16. There's your first level. All right, I'll leave that for after one day where we've clearly gone down. Heckler did okay, did better than CDE. Popped its head up nicely. New all-time close, 52-week close. Next level, 13 bucks. And then and we're really close to that. Yeah, 13 Heckler, 13 at 50 bucks silver. CD probably 20, fill the gap. First Majestic 14, 1450. Hope so. Fortuna 980. Jeez, I know these by heart now. Heckler though, you know, this makes sense. After that, I don't know what this means. I don't know. I didn't even know they were around in the 80s. What's that about? So after we clear 13, well, that'll be a good problem to have, and I'll deal with that later. But definitely makes sense that we hit 13 for 50 bucks. I think that's fair enough. EXK, horrible candle. I remember this doing okay at the beginning. I saw it at the open. I thought that's cool, like 5% or something. And then where's your close Friday there? Yeah, like 5%. That's fair enough. And then you close low of day up 1%, 1.5. Okay, now your high is up here, 840. Yeah. I was hoping we'd be higher by the time we're at 50. Look, if we cross 50, I think Don Durrett said this. I think EXK's expectations, it starts to get ridiculous. It'll probably start doing a CDE move. It'll out CDE, CDE. But for that, we've got to be at 50. And here, I feel like some of these miners are pricing in 50 is here and 50 is here, right? The difference between today and tomorrow, zero. And who knows, we could be red. We could go and test 4,000 and 50 bucks in the morning. Silver, that's quite a big move. And then we start to just fade it. And then by the time the market opens, the miners open red and it just keeps going down. I'm starting to worry about something like that. All right, the juniors that I don't have enough of. I don't even feel like covering them. This one gave back quite a bit, really followed silver actually, starting to hold its lows. This is not even resistance anymore. It's more the ascending is support, and this is your resistance. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy any of the juniors because we're at 50. So let's see how far down they go. If we go down, I could be wrong. We just keep going up. This one I'd expect it to sort of flush its ascending and come down. If otherwise, if we're going up to 50 and beyond, then we're gonna go all the way up to the highs. Juanto, whatever, that's lost its mojo since that dilution, and it doesn't look like, I mean, right down 2% when silver's up 1.5, 2% or whatever it is. This looks like it wants to come down more, retest this zone, this sort of 26-ish resistance slash descending breakout. Um, this zone. What else we got? Jag. I wanted to add the Jag. Also some good news, and I just didn't have time to do that. This looks like it wants to break out to the next level, right? Regardless of what I'm saying about silver and gold resistance. This one, I don't know what it is. It's the technicals, and I saw some good tweets on it. Basically, those two things combined. I think it just wants to go up. Best risk reward. Forgot who said that. I want to double my position today, and I didn't even do it. I wonder if I can do it after hours. I don't have much. It's a junior, so by default, I don't have much, but I just feel like doubling it. Done. Done. Like this area taken care of. I already bought this area once. I might as well buy it twice. My average will probably be about 6. On the TSX Ventures, I think it'll be 11 bucks next year, early next year, even with silver dropping a little bit and then going back up probably. What else? I got what was it KMT? I always get that wrong. I used to own K92. Kootenay, what did that do? Sideways makes sense, I guess. Silver at 50 already. Yeah, they're gonna come down. Good. I hardly own them. And then I own another one. Oh yeah, there's Aya. I keep forgetting about Aya. I don't have no idea what that did. That's just hovering sideways. I see a lot of sideways action today. Some did well. I think I forgot one stock, but it doesn't matter. There's just a junior, which means I hardly own it. So yeah, the gold seniors not so good. Underperformed the metal. Yeah, so silver underperformed gold. That's not super bullish. And then the miners underperformed the metals. That's not bullish, right? The opposite is usually bullish, let's say, for those dynamics. Otherwise, some of the silver stocks did good. Most were sort of okay. The gold stocks were not that great. They were sideways. Some did okay. I mean, overall, I had a good day actually, nice and profitable, but it's only because I have so much in. And I'm starting to feel that toppiness. And we know silver's at 50, right? It's one day away, and maybe the top's in already. Maybe tomorrow it's red. And gold, 3,960 is 4,000. So for me, we're there. Tomorrow, if we have the chance to be up, I will be trimming. I can tell you that already now. I don't know how much, some more than others, but I'm just going to trim this zone and then I'm in my piece. We go down, cool, cool. I want to buy back. I got lots of ammo. I trim this area. I'm going to be very happy. If we go up and I've trimmed, oh, I've done this like for 15 years. I know why I trimmed. I'm making a lot more money when it goes up, right? So I'm happy anyway. And I think I'm just gonna have to make my peace with that. And I know the sides, I know the arguments on both sides, but I don't know, that Rick Rule interview just sort of tipped the balance for me. But yeah, that's my plan. Anyway, good luck. I think we made history today. I think tomorrow we have one last hurrah. I hope it continues, but it'll be very interesting. Literally history in the making now slash tomorrow. So good luck. Let's see what happens, and let me know what you guys are doing too, actually.